Hey team, John Martin here from New Life Fitness. That's New Life, L-Y-F-E. Encourage you guys to live your faith every day. Answering your question. So the question was asked about shoes. Somebody asked, what kind of shoes should I wear? I'll start off, kind of explain some shoes to you guys, give you my recommendation, and then also kind of explain to you, what kind of shoes you should wear if you're being very sports specific. All right. So first shoe here is a typical running shoe. It's actually a little better than most running shoes. It's a Nike Free. And it's better because it has mobility. A little bit of torsion. You guys see that? See these cutouts here? Awesome. But you want mobility. The goal here is to strengthen your feet with your shoes. It's like having a Mercedes or Maserati or some nice car and then putting the cheapest tires you can on. It doesn't make sense. You're always going to be limited by the performance of your feet. I'm reminded of Deion Sanders. He had a great career, but he had turf toe, end of his career. Not a knee or an ankle, it was turf toe. That was the end of his career. So same way for you guys, you want to make sure you take care of your feet. And that starts with just wearing good shoes. So running shoes are good for running, and I wouldn't say good, they're kind of mediocre for running in that they force you to keep your heel elevated. If you know how to run, hopefully you know how to run kind of the balls of your feet, or this front portion of your feet, which the shoe naturally has an elevated heel, so you do that. Unfortunately, most people run on their heels, and that is not a good thing because it basically jars your knees and your hips. I can go through a demonstration later, but I won't. And you don't want to do that. So if you know how to run, you can run in running shoes. If you don't know how to run, don't run in running shoes because it's only going to make your knees and your back and your hips and everything else hurt a lot more. So my recommendation is don't wear running shoes, just cross-train in. Wear them to run only if you know how to run. If you don't know how to run, don't wear them. You'll actually learn how to run differently or better in minimalist shoes. That brings me to my recommendation here. Boom pow. These are Merrells or Merrells. I can't remember which way is correct. My clients always correct me, so I apologize in advance. But M-E-R-R-E-L-L, these are minimalist shoes. They're not the most minimalist, but they are very quality in that they have a Vibram sole. You can see the degree of flexibility is quite a bit more than the Nike Free there. Also, if you notice a wide toe box, I'll do a comparison here. This one is like a heel, like a high heel, points your toes together. This one here has a wide toe box so you can splay your toes. Your toes grip the ground the same way your hands grip things, and hopefully not exactly the same, but in the same fashion. You want your toes to be separated. You don't want to be a club foot. So with your shoes, Merrells are good shoes here. Merrells, I like these quite a bit. These are Sonic gloves. They come in these bright colors, which seem to be pretty fashionable this time of year. A lot of flexibility, wide toe box, Vibram soles, so you know they'll last. Also has a great warranty if you get it from REI. They also come in more muted colors, so you can wear them every day. Because the more you wear shoes that don't flex and bend, your foot is going to atrophy, and it's going to get used to being very rigid and very weak. That's why, unfortunately, I'm going back here. With these shoes, what you'll tend to see is people with a lot of knee injuries, back injuries, because there's no lower foot strength and stability. The foot has a natural shock absorber in it, and with these shoes it gets rid of that, so you no longer need to have a strong foot to absorb the shock of running. The benefit here is that these shoes don't have that support, so your foot will actually strengthen itself. If you look at the research, I'll post a link there to the research. People who did minimalist running actually had a decrease in signs of injuries, like from knee injuries and back injuries, hip injuries, plantar fasciitis, all these things just because they strengthen their feet. So this is my recommendation. There's a lot of minimalist shoes. Another popular one, this is kind of the most minimalist there is, the Vibram. If you look, it's Vibram 5-finger, the same people that made the sole for the Merrells. And the shoe has, you can twist it in knots. It's basically just a foot glove. You see here you got hopefully five toes that fit into these 5 toe holes. But yeah, my wife uses these. I don't really have much of a say on these. They're good if you can wear them. Break them in. The same thing with the Merrells. Your foot's not used to being quote-unquote barefoot. But these shoes are the best for lateral mobility and agility and basically all-around cross-training. You can only imagine using a shoe like this to go laterally. Your foot's elevated, half an inch off the ground. It's like training in high heels. No one's doing that. At least I hope not. No, I don't know what you do for a living, but most people don't. You just want to make sure that you have a minimalist sole. I think New Balance has one called New Balance Minimus. Go figure. They have like a 0 or like a 0.1 millimeter increase in the heel. Those are also a good option. So no to Nikes, yes to Merrells, yes to New Balance Minimus. but I like these because there's more. I think they're more stylish, and I know they're pretty durable with that Vibram label on there. Also, I want to talk a little bit about sport-specific shoes. For general cross-training purposes, those are my recommendations. But for more sport-specific, specifically speaking about powerlifting, and that's like the big three: deadlift, bench, and squat. What you'll commonly find is people just rocking the Chucks, and this is an excellent shoe for that. It's flat. You can really grip the ground as much as you can. It's stable also. You're not going to see your heels elevated sliding around. And also the shoe seems fairly solid, but it still gives you enough mobility. It's just an all-around good shoe. It's just very basic for just doing the basic three. You don't want too much in there where you're going to compress the heel and all those things. But as far as deadlift, squats, bench press, these are great shoes. Although what you're starting to see now, and this is in Olympic lifters or in power lifters, is starting to lose Olympic lifting shoes. You notice here these shoes are built like some trucks. I mean, they got straps on top. Solid heel. Only have a little bit of flexion in the front. Try to go sideways. There's no rotation happening here. That's because these shoes need to be stable. If you know what Olympic lifting is, or weightlifting, like it's appropriately called, you want the shoe to be stable. You want your foot to hit that ground and hit that position. I recommend squatting these if you can, especially doing like front squats, back squats too. But then again, with this shoe, you wouldn't do anything else really. If you have an Olympic lifting shoe, all you're going to do is Olympic lifting. So to start off and to save your budget, start with the Merrells. Get your technique down. Once you get pretty serious about your technique, get a pair, depending how serious you are about your weightlifting. Basically, these are the only two shoes I train in. This is everything. This is weightlifting. I wear this just for weightlifting. I wear this for everything. You guys make the choice. But that's it for shoe recommendation. If you guys have any other questions, let me know. Send them in to John at newlifefitness.com. Encourage you guys to live your faith every day. Send your questions in. Take care and peace.